What is up, everybody? This is Lyle, no hippie trucking and transportation. I guess I gotta stop saying what's up because somebody said, why do all of us truck drivers or people say what's up to start a video? So unprofessional. So, uh, anyway, I wouldn't consider this a very professional, type of a situation personally, but wait for a few people to get in here. If they come in, we're kind of on an odd time right now. Slime Pack, are you at home already? Don't be saying, yeah, somebody's actually said that. What is it, 11 o'clock in Denver? I got done delivering my load this morning. Got a nice hour of that delicious detention. That is always wonderful. Slime Pack, I don't know, man. It just depends on where this goes. All right. So anyway, been waiting for this. Came out of home time August 28th. Stayed out a tad bit longer than I wanted to, but I'm gonna start the home time festivities with a little bit of Penelope Architect bourbon right there. 52% alcohol, which means it's 104 proof. I bought this one myself since my son hasn't had a chance to come over. He moved into my condo, so he's on his own now, paying that rent on time, hopefully. All right. Randall Myth Leather Company, what's up? Slime Pack, are you at home? Trucking Life, my Filipino wife, what's going on? Hope you got that truck situation handled. My check engine light came back on. I don't know if I'm going to take it to the shop this time or not. Naturally Created will be in Detroit streets looking for my girl. Man, I tell you what, if I lived in Detroit, I'd hook her up. I would definitely try to find her and hook her up. 412, what's up? That is delicious right there. Man. All right. Tito's and soda. Headed to Orlando for some home time. That's what I'm talking about, man. Get it in while you can. One of the reasons I stayed out so long was I had to get so much work done to my truck that I was kind of trying to recover from that. I spent like $1,000 on just getting. See, when you're actually owning your truck, you don't do the whole prime 70,000 miles and all this stuff for oil changes. You got to get that shit done a little bit sooner. So I spent $1,000 last time I was on home time getting my truck in the shop, and then like $6,000 almost between tires. What did I get done? Tires. Had them tighten, or they had to reconnect my little. God damn! Why can't I think of the name? Catwalk on my truck, and then they did something else. I forget. So anyway, that was like damn near $6,000. So I was kind of recovering from that. Not that I did not, I didn't take it out of my emergency fund, so I'm still sitting cool there. I wanted to leave my emergency fund where it's at. Now, at some point, I'm going to stop. I'm just going to start reverting that back to my regular account, but I like it sitting in that emergency fund. It does a couple things. First of all, when they start talking about before you take home time and all this stuff, make sure you have money in your emergency fund. There's enough money in that account where they know not to be coming at me with that one. All right. So anyway, Slime Pack left home on Monday. Kitty Cat, I'm actually 18. All right. Snow's going to be flying soon. Yeah, Yeah, I'm gonna try to avoid as much of that as I can this winter. All right, Oscar. If All right, I'm trying. I don't have a tripod on this thing. I'm kind of winging it. If you don't mind me asking, all right, what kind of car do I drive? Man, I got an old 2009 Dodge Ram, four doors, like that orange color Hemi. Uh, this is going to be the last year I can have it because the exhaust fell off of that thing. And next time they ask me to get a emissions test on it, I won't be able to get it done. That truck has been one of the best investments ever. So if the truck broke down today, it would have been worth it. So I got at least another year, unless it breaks down before then. But it drives fine. But it's just, you know. All right. All right. All right. Well, thanks for calling me handsome. Much appreciated. All right. We're out here killing it, running teams with Slime Pack, Southeast Regional. Man, I don't know about them teams, but Southeast Regional, if I lived in the South, or, you know, even like maybe not quite the South, maybe a little bit outside that, I'd try to run that Southeast Regional. Now, the only problem comes in the wintertime. Now, a lot of people are like, well, it doesn't snow in the South, but when it does snow, the last place you want to be is in Tennessee or, you know, Georgia or any of them places that don't know how to act. What's up for Moab? Man, I love Moab. I like whenever I can get a load kind of taking me through there. Andy, am I a little screamer? I don't know about that. I just like talking a little shit. And then, oh, my wife, I just bought her a few months ago a Mercedes. I think it's a 2012 Mercedes GLA 250, just a little small car, you know, SUV type shit. All right, my man is from India. Where am I from? I'm from Denver, Colorado. Hey, I'm gonna put you guys up on a route that a lot of people don't take. No GPS is naturally gonna take you down this route. If you're ever picking up in the middle of the country, so let's say Indianapolis, so let's say Colorado. I mean, you could go further, but I'm not trying to go 70 over the mountains, but let's say Colorado to like Indiana and anything that's along that parallel going east. Forget taking 80 and doing all that or dropping down to 70. Get on 74 to 72 to 36 and ride 36 all the way into almost Denver. It'll drop you off maybe 7 miles away from that Loves and Bennett. No truck traffic, not really too many cities, you know, towns or whatever to go through. Saves you about 60 miles. I've always taken that route at least to 29, but I've never driven it all the way into Colorado. So I decided to do that on this run, and man, it's such a lot less of a headache than taking 70 or 80. All right, Myth Leather Company, they still do emissions in Colorado? Yeah, they do. Now, they do have it. You don't always have to get it, because if you drive by one of those little emissions trucks where you can kind of just do it on the fly, then you may not have to do it. But I don't drive the truck enough to be going through all that. So my registration just came in about a week ago, and it said I did not need emissions this year. So I'm good for another year on this truck should I decide to keep it that long. But if the right car comes along, I'll buy another car on any of these home times. It could be this home time if I find the right car. But it has to be raggedy enough to where I don't mind parking it at a rant, parking it at at the terminal in Denver. But yeah, so it won't be anything super like it. If I could find the perfect car around $4,000, that would be wonderful. All right, Oscar has a BMW MG. My wife's last car was a BMW X5, and that it had the 4-liter engine in it. That was a good car. Served her well for a few years. Drove it till practically the wheels fell off. Think that was a 2011 or something, maybe. All right, Ed, what's up? Ed is down at the Springfield terminal picking up his brand new Peterbilt. Congratulations on that. Oh, Slime Pack, if you're in here, Ed was telling me you need to talk Slime Pack into doing a lease purchase on our next truck. And I said, Ed, you need to take your own advice. And he said, well, I want to do this and I want to do that. I said, still, he wants to pay off his mortgage faster. I said, even if you do it, here's the numbers. You can still do it faster. And he's out here still not doing it. So anyway, I'm sure you could get it done. You could switch it over while you're at the terminal, Ed. I take 15 north to Salt Lake City, then 80 or 70. I don't know if it's 15, but normally if I'm going to Salt Lake City in the winter, I'll go I-40, cut up. A lot of people like to drive down to Gallup, New Mexico, but one of my wonderful subscribers here told me, forget going down to Gallup, New Mexico, go north in Albuquerque, and you're going to hit 550, take 550 across, and then at some point you're going to end up kind of where that reservation is and that school and all that, and then you just follow it through to that, and then I think it gets you on, I forget, it goes through Moab and does all that. All right, man, this is some good stuff. Penelope Architect, 52% alcohol, 104 proof. All right. Mine is a 2023 with 30,000 pounds in upgrades. So I'm assuming that you are from England or something. All right. Hey, it's cool at Prime. Wait, is the Kool-Aid at Prime still sweet? Man, listen, it's even sweeter with that paid off truck. Like, this time I'm going home with a full week behind me, right? So it's going to be, I think I did like 5,300 in normal revenue, but I should have, it may not come on this check, but I should have probably another $600 in detention somewhere in there. So that makes for some good Kool-Aid right there. Now they could do some things different, trust me, they could. But that ship's already sailed. I'm done. When I talk about, there was a time when it was like they would say the Prime family. Now I've had to bring that family in a little bit tighter, so I have my group of people that I deal with at Prime as far as friends go. And then I'd say even my logs advisor and dispatcher, but it doesn't go too much further out beyond that. All right. Oscars in England. Speaking of England, the last cars I ever sold in the car industry in 1999 was Land Rovers. And I keep getting tempted to buy one of those because you could buy one at a good price. But, man, those things break down often and they are expensive to fix. So I got to keep myself disciplined and not make a dumb move. All right, the proof, please send some prayers to my sister. She's pregnant and I'm scared because I'm not ready to be a dad. Definitely pray for him. Man, I tell everybody, if you if you're an owner op, sell your truck and come to Prime. Man, I'm telling you, I've never complained about the money at Prime. Never. Even if they want to call it a recession, my income really hasn't dropped all that much at all. Maybe a little bit. But lately, like this last 3 weeks, it's been actually too fucking busy. Like they're trying to put me on loads I can't do. Like just recently, I was dropping off somewhere in Iowa. They were like trying to give me a load that picked up like 250 miles away in like 5 hours. I mean, it was crazy. And I was like, even if I didn't need a washout, which I'm going to need, and I'm not doing, there's a, in Dubuque, Iowa, or no, Waterloo, Iowa, or something, they had like some self washout shit where all the cattle people, I ain't using that. That shit was filthy. But I was like, even if I can get it washed out, I can't make it there. And that's happened a few times, to be honest with you. So the pace is kicking up a bit. Little dude from 63rd, that reminds me of bruh man from the 5th floor. Man, I tell you, everybody, all right, we already spoke about that. What? You got your sister pregnant? All right, anyway. I may pour me a glass of that Prime Kool-Aid. Man, Shamarcus should definitely be drinking that Prime Kool-Aid. With 3 paid off trucks, this man, you might have to add a little bit more water to that. Because as sweet as that Kool-Aid is you're drinking right now, that's like BPK. And those are the people that watched that movie House Party. You know, that's black people Kool-Aid. When that little kid kept pouring that sugar in there and never stopped, that's how sweet his Kool-Aid is right now. I like your style, no hippie, you don't complain. Like these other failed lease drivers at Prime, like Richie Rich. I'm going to tell you, there are people that fail at Prime that have legitimate reasons. So I'm not going to, because I think sometimes Prime, I think there needs to be a little bit more thought put into who becomes a lease person right off the bat. I think you should have to qualify to some degree, whether it's credit or maybe money in the bank or something. But I think a lot of people get put into these leases without access to money, which I think a lot of people fail just because they don't have enough money behind them, and not having money turns little problems into big problems. Now, that being said, I personally haven't had a reason to complain. There were hard times I went through, mainly, operating more than one truck, but that was shit I put myself into. But most of the people I talk to, for the most part, most of the people I talk to have been doing well at Prime, are doing good at Prime. So I don't know if that's the whole you are the company you keep or what, but they've given me reasons to complain, but it hasn't been about money. It's been about petty shit is really what I have to complain about. The stuff I have to complain about is, why do drivers have to do quadruple redundancy on they're treating us like we're fucking Navy SEALs or Army Delta or something, where we got to have 4 backup plans for one fucking mission. Like I got to call in to tell the motherfuckers I know about the load. Then I got to, get there, tell them I'm here. Then I got to enter in all the information. Then I got to send in the documents. Then I got to call them again to tell them, all right, I'm leaving now. I think all right, here's some complaining for you. When you have a process like this, I think what it does is a lot of people are only going to rise to the level that you treat them to. Meaning, if you have a badass kid and you treat him like a badass kid, you're going to end up with a badass kid instead of expecting them to be more than what they currently are. And I think that's kind of one of my problems with Prime. A good example, when I was in the mortgage industry, when I was a manager, a lot of, we were getting loans that were turned in that probably should have been turned in a little bit better than that. Now, rather than nitpicking everybody, which actually it started out that way, to be honest with you, that wasn't my call, but they're like, every loan that gets turned in, needs to get turned into Lyle, and then he's going to scrub it and either kick it back to you or he'll turn it in from there. And what ended up happening, because they knew that there was going to be somebody else behind it, everything was even more sloppy. So what I said was, listen, here's what I expect. When these loans get turned in, I'm not scrubbing them. If the loan gets kicked back, it's going to cost you more time, your customers more time, and all this kind of stuff. And what ended up happening? Better loans started getting turned in, because the first time they didn't turn in one that was clean, and it cost them an extra week or 10 days on it, then they kind of wised up from there. All right. All right. Authentically Chasing In says it's picking up. Tank Wars, I saw you at the gas station yesterday. Which gas station are we referring to? If you fail a lease at Prime, Swift, and just give it up and go company. I don't know what everybody's situation is, but if I was talking to one of my boys and I wasn't talking to anybody else, I would say that you almost have to go out of your way to fail it, if you went in prepared. These YouTubers be capping because they say they'll never say what company they work for. I think most people say where they work for. I don't know. I did hear through the grapevine that Trucker Coach, who was bagging on Prime and all that, and went over to Hirschbach. He might be leaving Hirschbach already. God damn. At some point, even if a better situation comes, you got to plant your feet somewhere. All right. Happy to see you thriving and finally free from rehab. Glad you found your peace. Appreciate it. Rehab was a motherfucker, let me tell you. You should go local. Man, no way I'd go local in Denver. First of all, in Denver. Local in Denver could mean a number of different things. First of all, I'm not fucking with these mountains 100% of the time. Secondly, in a few days, I'll be 57 years old. 57-year-old people do not want to be unloading trucks and doing all that. Now, let's say, well, not all jobs are driver unload. If they're not, they could be like 14-hour day jobs when you do all your shit, make it home just to turn back around and go back out. No, I'm not doing that. Now, I have heard of some people, they have a rail yard down here where you could take your truck down there and basically be an owner operator and do all that. But then I think about how spoiled I am. Like, I don't got to worry about shit. Like, I don't have to worry about no IFTA. I don't got to worry about. This job is just too easy for me to want to leave. And here's what I will say. Now, local with my own truck, maybe. There's no local driver out there. I don't care where you work, what you do, all that kind of stuff. I guess you could have a paid off truck too. But if you're talking about getting paid per hour, with a paid off truck, every week I'm starting off with like $1,400 in the bank before I even start. Oh, Kiersey out there starting fires and shit. Oh man, what's up, Kiersey? Bringing the heat. And a trucking game. One thing else about just my philosophy and everything is at some point consistency matters. So that's one thing that I'm happy to bring my family is they don't have. I mean, they may worry about when I'm you know when I'm exactly coming home or this or that, but it's not. As a matter of fact, that brings me up to another question somebody asked. Consistency is when consistency makes you feel like you don't have to worry about as much shit. Now, it brings me to my next topic that somebody had asked about was credit. And I was talking to somebody, they were saying, I'm thinking about way ahead of where they should be. Kind of like me before I got into trucking. I'm thinking about, where I'm going to be, 5 years from now. And that's really not the way to do it because I'm not even on the same path that I was thinking I was on. But, he was talking about establishing business credit and all this kind of stuff. And I was just like, man, you heard somebody say to get $100,000 worth of credit cards and all this shit. And I'm just like, first of all, most fucking credit in the trucking industry is going to be backed up by personal credit anyway. Hold on just a second. Man. All right. So most credit, at least at the very beginning, is going to be backed up by personal credit. So that's the first thing. Secondly, if you get $100,000 in credit, and he's mentioned credit cards, which, $100 in credit is different than $100,000 in credit cards. If you get an open line of credit for $100,000, that's different than the credit cards, because if you get credit cards, let's say you got 4 credit cards, and they equal $100,000. One of the things that's changed in the credit game is they're monitoring your credit almost. Jesus. They're monitoring it almost real time. So let's say that you start ramping up, unless you took $100,000 of credit out at the same time, it would almost be impossible to get $100,000 in actually. It would almost be impossible for you to use $100,000 worth of credit unless it was like maybe one credit line. Because what happens is the credit card company that you have right now is looking at the credit card that they have, and you start getting up to the limit, then they're going to start looking even more. Then if they see you start moving to another credit card, now they're really thinking about it. So you start ramping that one up. The first one might shut you down, and then before you can even get to the third and fourth one, they might shut you down. So it's not as easy to use $100,000 worth of credit cards as you think, unless you did it in one shot. Man. All right. So anyway, my theory is try to have enough money behind you to where you don't have to use credit. All right. Kiersey says, I have a friend running owner operator authority and a day cab, owns 2 trailers. Got to pay for storage lot and equipment and has severe ups and downs. He's happy though. That's one thing. People are like, well, what would you do if you left Prime? One of the best things about Prime for me is we got that terminal or drop yard, whatever you want to call it, in Denver. That right there, I don't have to worry about no truck parking club, none of that kind of stuff. When I come home, I know where it's going to be. I ain't got to worry about anybody messing with it, none of that. I mean, I almost would say if I was to leave Prime, I might actually end up going to Swift or something just because of the convenience. I mean, not that I plan on going there. I'm just saying they do have a terminal right there. All right. Drank 4 cups of strong coffee today. My bunghole is burnt. I don't know if coffee would do that to me, but. And then, hello, what's up? What's up? Just out here having my first home time drink. Tomorrow is me and my wife's anniversary. No, not tomorrow. Fuck. What is it? The 8th? The 10th is me and my wife's anniversary, and then I'll be turning 57 on the 12th. All right, let's see. Happy birthday in advance. Hey, I appreciate that. Is Big H Transportation still running for Prime? Yes, he is. Unless something happened within the last 10 days or so. Big H, he's like eyeing that retirement also. He's probably a few years older than me. And Big H Trucking, he's one of those guys that, he decided not to do a lease purchase because he didn't want to get this is back right before they shut down purchases on Peterbilt. So he was like, I'm not going to do it because I don't want to get a truck in the winter. I'd rather just get it in the summer. So he put off buying, doing the lease purchase on it. And then they shut down. I think COVID happened or something. And then he couldn't get it for a while. So he's like almost an entire year behind where he should be. So if he had one regret, I bet that would be one of them right there. All right. Range. Lyle, in your opinion, did life go by fast? Absolutely. And it seems like it's going by even faster now. Because when you look at the reality that more of your life is behind you than in front of you, yeah, definitely going by too fast. All gas, no brakes. Happy birthday. I appreciate it. Catherine Stone, what's up? Absolutely. Definitely went by too fast. Fuck. But one thing I will tell you, and you never know when you're going to die. So sometimes, the mental break in saving money is you feel like you just don't know how much to save for, right? But people say life is short, but life is real long if you're fucking broke. You know what I mean? To me, that's the worst case scenario is if you end up being not saving enough and ended up being fucking broke. That is a huge fear right there. So that's kind of what is up. I still remember watching The Good Times when the old lady, she was, I don't know if she was retired or what it was, not, she was like a neighbor or something, and they found out she was eating cat food or something like that. That's a fear right there. And, I mean, I always said if I left some money behind, that's on accident. And, I joke around about that. But in reality, you do want to leave, a little something behind for people. You know what I mean? This stuff is wonderful. Shoot. Man. So anyway, I'm gonna probably be home. Been thinking about this quite a bit. So if it's the 8th, I might be home till like, let's say the 28th or 29th, maybe. Because I'm gonna stay out for Thanksgiving, but I'm gonna probably take another 3 weeks off for Christmas. So I got to be prepared for that. And then depending on how winter is, man, the problem with winter is I always got to get back to Colorado, right? So if winter's bad, even getting to Colorado sometimes might be bad. But I mean, you got to come. I may start taking off more time in winter. So I might do like 3 weeks out, 10 days back or something like that. I don't know. We'll have to see. I am not going through a winter like I did last winter. That shit was ridiculous. All right. Naturally created. What bourbon are you sipping? Man. All right. So this is a Penelope. This is an architect. So if you look at the back, there's this little diagram and it'll tell you, like, if you look at like these different things, like this says, well, forget it. This says like, let me just assume this says spicy. So this little circle thing kind of tells you what the flavor profile is. Now they've kind of changed it now to where the name of the architect is actually what the flavor profile is. So it would be Penelope creme brulee or marshmallow or, caramel or something like that. So anyway, that's what it is right there. This was actually suggested to me by a former subscriber. Well, he's probably still a subscriber, but became friends. And he's the one, Kiersey knows him. He's the one that bought my 21 Peterbilt. So he suggested this. So I finally got home and I was like, before I even got home, I stopped at the liquor store to get it, because I knew my son always comes over with the present for me. But since he's not living here anymore, I figured the bottle wouldn't be here. So I needed to get a little something. So this is what it is. And this is delicious. Let me tell you. Sweet, very sweet, spicy. Now, for those of you guys that aren't bourbon drinkers, this is not like no Fireball or anything like that. Bourbon cannot be artificially flavored. So the flavor this gets comes from the aging and from the barrels. So we're not talking about no artificially apple flavored, all that. I cannot stand that shit. This is naturally flavored from the barrels. So anyway, it's a wonderful selection, let me tell you. Man. This was about $62 for this bottle. Now, trust me, some of the other stuff I got that was good, maybe not quite as good as this. There's a lot of low cost stuff that I like. Benchmark. If you see that bourbon, Benchmark, they have like about 4 different bottles in that brand. One of them is called like top shelf. One is called like uh, bottled in bond. One is called foolproof. They got four different ones, and they're all like under like I think most of them are in that $19-20 range or something like that. Uh, Bottled by the same company that makes Buffalo Trace. That stuff is awesome too. And then for real cheap stuff, under like $20, you got Old Granddad 114, which is a 114 proof bourbon right there. Can't go wrong with that. You got Wild Turkey 101. That's like about a mid $20 bottle. There's a ton of them. So this I always need one good bottle when I get home. I won't be spending no $60 more on anything else I get because my son's gonna come over. So I'm assuming he's buying me some decent shit. And if I need anything else, then I'm going with the low dollar stuff right there. What's the best liquor you tried and recommend? Man, that's hard to tell because I'm a bourbon guy, so um it would probably be along those lines, but uh, first of all bourbon is different too because it all depends on where the barrel was and what the temperatures were when. But if I had to suggest the bourbon to somebody that you could not go wrong with, that's not crazy expensive, because you could get into crazy expensive shit and be like, oh, this is the best. Wild Turkey Rare Breed is probably, if I was to say what I would tell somebody to get that's, in that 50 range or something like that, can't go wrong. Boom, that's it. And then in the economical range, I'd probably say Wild Turkey 101 or Benchmark, any of those. But I like to stay over 100 proof. Now you can mix stuff too. Like Buffalo Trace is a bourbon that a lot of people like, good flavor profile. I think it's a little too thin for me just because the alcohol content's too low. So I might buy that and mix that with like a 120 proof bourbon. So I might mix that with like a, Benchmark full proof that might be coming in at 125 proof. Mix that 50-50, get that alcohol content up there. And it's not just the alcohol. Bourbon that has more alcohol has more of a richer flavor. It's like people say it's not as thin. And you can like if you swirl the glass around, sort of like wine. If you swirl the glass around, you'll see like the legs, they call it. You'll see like the alcohol kind of coming down the side of the glass. If it doesn't have that much, weaker alcohol, and that 80 proof won't have that same where you see it kind of coming down the side of the size of the glass like that. All right, so anyway, any barbecue while you're home? I want to smoke a turkey for Thanksgiving. Look at my videos on smoked turkey. No hippie barbecue. Type in that and smoke turkey. Don't look at the oldest one because I didn't have my technique down by then. If you're going to smoke a turkey, I'm telling you, still cook it fast. It's still going to give you enough of that flavor. I cook my turkeys hot and fast. Why? If you cook a turkey super hot, it's not going to have a chance to dry out. So when I smoke my turkeys, I'm probably cooking that shit at like 370, or in the oven I'll do it at 450, because if you cook a turkey that fast, you're cooking it so fast it can't dry out. But I have plenty of video. As a matter of fact, let me see if I can find that no hippie turkey. Let's take a look at some of these damn turkeys. Boom. Man, are you kidding? Are you kidding me? Tell me that shit don't look good right there. Boom. Tell me that shit don't look good right there.
Box right there.
What are you doing, Iris? Boom. Come here.
You came home.
I go home toy. I go home toy.
You came home.
What's that?
I go home toy in my life.
You came home with Lolly. Yeah.
Do you need to crap in your pants?
He already did. She changed it.
Oh, all right.
She changed it before. We weren't gonna get in the car and have it all smushed up. He's like, I took a big old dump.
I take a big dump.
Yeah. I take a big old dump and eat. That's what he said. Yep.
Yeah, so
You did.
I was thinking about maybe doing some brisket or something, but as expensive as that is, if you mess that up now,
I saw one for only $89.
I know that's like $30 more than they used to be.
Yeah, but I haven't, normally they're like over 100.
If you find a brisket for $89 when you're at work, bring it home and I'll cook it.
Yeah, I found one the other day.
I'm talking about if you find one now.
Okay, got you. Come here, baby.
All right. How long I'm on a smoker? You know what? However long it takes to get it cooked. You know what I'm saying? It's been a while. I think turkey's cooked at 165 or 170. I don't remember. Just get you a temperature probe. Look up. Now, you actually want to cook it more than what. If you're cooking it hot and fast, you want to cook it above what the temperature says the turkey is done at, because you're not going to have to worry about it drying out or anything. So whatever it says. So, for example, and it's been a while since I cooked one, at least over 8 years, it's going to say turkeys get done being cooked at 165. If you're cooking it at 350 to 400 degrees, you're going to want to take it out at about 6 degrees over that. Man, I'm telling you, well, I was killing it back in the day.
Come here, baby. Lovey, come on. Come here. Come on, Lolly.
Range did a brisket for 12 hours. Man, I'm afraid to do a brisket right now just because, like I said, I'm not, I haven't done one in so long. Man, look at these numbers. How to smoke a perfect Thanksgiving turkey. No hippie barbecue. 1.1 million views. Come on now. Cooking a turkey on your outdoor grill. 242,000 views. Got some underperformers. 11,000. 485,000. Come on. 103,000. I got a bunch of turkey videos. One of the best ones didn't hit the algorithm. 2,000 views. And then a shitty one. And it wasn't a shitty turkey. It was just a shitty, like, presentation. I had an old camera, nothing. 546,000 views on this one. And this was like not a good presentation, nothing. I mean, it was just like that. I mean, it was a good turkey, but it wasn't a good picture, nothing. And this one only got less than 4,000 views. And that was like one of the better ones right there. Anyway, no rhyme or reason. But if I was to do a brisket, I would probably do it on my 26-inch kettle grill. So I wouldn't use the snake method because I got this slow and sear situation. So I'd probably just use that. But I think the last time I did a brisket, I cooked it pretty hot. I think I cooked my brisket at like 275, 280 degrees or something. Still came out excellent. I tried a hot and fast method somebody was telling me about, and I don't think I would actually spend 18 hours doing it again after that. Anyway, I'm done talking about that food nerd shit.
Yeah. We got Mimi some treats for his kitty cat.
There's some hummus in there that I forgot about that was in my truck refrigerator.
We got treats for Mimi's kitty cats.
Fuck Mamie's kitty cat. What we got for Frankie?
I got Frankie treats too and food.
All right, I'm gonna follow the turkey video down to the T. You know what? Look at the newer one. So if you can look at them by date range, go to the newest of the date ones. I mean, I don't think any, and make sure they're high temperature turkeys, because I've done them all different ways. The high temperature turkey, all that you got to think about is in the oven. I'll do that shit at 400 and some degrees, and that shit, like I said, you cook it so fast it can't dry out. And meanwhile, you have everybody's like 300 and some degrees, taking like 7 hours. That shit's done quick, trust me, and it looks good too. Make sure that you protect. I mean, if you're worried about the presentation, a lot of people just care about the taste. You don't got to worry about it. But if you get like the foil, put it on the little legs or whatever, and then at some point you might want to cover it with some cheesecloth or something. But I'm telling you, but they say that the trucking market might come around now that they're kicking all these non-domicile English-speaking truck drivers out there. Now, I got two things to say about that. Personally, if people are worried about it from a safety point of view, I understand that. But my problem with what I see a lot of isn't the safety shit. There's two things that I disagree with personally. One is, and I guess we'll see, but I think it gives people that don't really care about the safety aspect a reason to push it off as that. And it gives them a reason. How can I say this?
You can go on a date with mommy.
I think there's some weak ass people that are looking for excuses as to why they're not performing where they want to perform. So they're blaming it on some other people. So I got a problem with those people. Then I think there's another group of people that are, and you can see it in the videos, it is maybe not like some straight up racist type shit, but it kind of goes along those lines where I don't think it's as much about the safety or any of that stuff as much as it is excluding somebody else. So personally, I try not to care about it either. There are things I can. There are certain things that I can't really, I have no control over. So I don't really try to step into that shit. So I'd kind of stay out of it. But I do notice those two different things.
I know it's hard when you're frustrated. You let the frustration take over. And you're jumping in
All right. So anyway, that's about that. Looks like everything's kind of slowed down in this chat, so it might be time for me to get out of here. But man, this stuff is. This stuff is awesome. Let me tell you. Mm. I'm just missing the Cohiba cigar. You know what? They have another bottle that I was thinking about buying, which I probably won't buy because, like I said, I spent. It's not a horrible amount on this, $60-something a bottle, but I just think there's so many good, cheaper bottles. But there's a bottle out there called E.H. Taylor, and they have. Actually, it might be around the same price. They have a bottle that comes with a Glencairn and a cigar that's around $66 or something like that. So,
We don't have that one, architect.
why? Which one do you have? Yeah, come here. Let me just hold here. What you been out? Breaking boxes down or something?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yes. That's great. I wear gloves too, but it doesn't matter, I guess, because I've got cows real bad on both right here and right there.
Excellent. I gotta tell my boy Josh if he's not watching this, which I don't think he is now. Listen. Josh is crazy. He started his own little fleet, so I don't know how many trucks he's got. He was one that I thought I might sell this truck I'm driving to, but he just called me and said the headache is real. So we'll see. He's not at Prime anymore. He's running his own deal. So another reason why I have so much money in my emergency fund is that I'm trying to have enough money. So if the payment on trucks is, let's just say $1,200 a month, I don't really remember what they are. I put that much money. I put $1,100 into my emergency fund every week. So I'm just hoping that when it's time for me to get another truck, I have that much money to basically just pay off the truck.
Holy smokes. What's up, baby?
Because I'm not trying to step up on no $1,200 payment.
These grapes are good. Oh yeah. I wish I would have got another pack.
Where'd you get these at?
Target. Man. Here, I just want another one. These love them. Yeah, these are good grapes, aren't they? I'm giving them all the little baby ones. Try one. I just watched them doing it.
These are probably the best grapes I've ever had in my life.
Oh my
Would it be easier just to get your own authority? Nope. Not for me. No. Listen, I'm low headache. Now, it might be better for somebody, but I don't want to be worried about no IFTA, insurance, none of that stuff. And for what? 28% I'm giving up? No. Absolutely not.
baby.
If I thought the headache of having multiple trucks was a headache, just dealing with that stuff. I mean, it just feels so good to drive through, and I don't have to even think about it. So people could say, you could get your own pre-pass. So I could drive by any toll booth and don't have to worry about if I got it, if I don't got it, none of that. Automatic. Don't have to worry about no fuel cards, none of that stuff.
Well, I gotta cut it
Now, if I got forced to do it, then I do it. Prime was kind of skirting along those. Oh my God. Anybody in here from Prime, just like say me or something. Because I want to talk about something I do think I see coming that I'm not all that happy about. But it's just low headache. I'm a low headache guy. I think if you're a Prime, I just saw an update on the laptop or on the tablet, whatever. If these guys start asking us to take pictures of fucking trailers and doing the pre-trip and all that shit, that might be the one thing that right there could be enough. That kind of babyfication could possibly be enough to push me over the edge. That bullshit right there, I'm not sure I could deal with. I guess we'll see. But that's what my fear is. Anyway, I'm about to get out of here and get back on my home time, but I do appreciate you guys. Let me see. D-Trucking. More work is better than leasing I don't have a payment on this truck, so I don't know. So I don't have a payment on this truck. So every week, a bad week for me is a bad week. 2,500. That's like a bad week.
Yeah, we cut ourselves off from grades. Yeah.
So an average week, 3,500, 3 maybe, so. And I normally don't. Yeah, no, I don't want to do no Landstar. That's another thing. Just that whole stupid thing about putting your whole check on a fucking fuel card is the dumbest shit that I've ever heard. But anyway, to me, and I don't like to post the numbers and everything like that, but I did last week or the week before that because people were asking for it. So when I'm talking, I'm not sitting here fucking lying about anything. Anyway, I'm about to get off here. I do appreciate you guys stopping by. I know he'd be trucking transportation. I'm going to probably get back to more regular videos because I got to answer some questions. They don't do well in lives, but I do appreciate you guys stopping by. Let me get back to this Penelope. I'm out.